Welcome to The Growth Spurt, a weekly AI podcast by the Second Baptist Church of Ann Arbor.
Hello. Today we're doing a deep dive into, well, something really fundamental. The nature of truth, especially when it's difficult.
That's right.
Our source material is the sermon delivered just this past Sunday, October 5th, 2025, by Dr. Stephen J. Daniels, Sr. It was titled, "You Asked for It? The Truth Cannot Be Muzzled."
Yeah, and while we often talk about AI and tech here, these principles of truthful communication, they apply everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's a language model or a tricky family situation.
Absolutely. This sermon was actually the fourth part of the church's Difficult Conversation series.
Ah, okay, so it fits right in.
It really does. And our mission today is basically to pull out the core insights from Dr. Daniels' message. He really zeroed in on this question, what happens when we ask for the truth? But deep down, we really don't want the discomfort that comes with it.
Oh yeah, that's the classic dilemma, isn't it? The core idea, the thesis he drew from 1 Kings 22, it points to this huge potential for conflict. We say, tell me the truth, right? But often we secretly mean, tell me what I want to hear, validate me.
Exactly. And the deep dive really starts when that validation doesn't happen.
So set the stage for us. Who are the key players here in 1 Kings?
Okay, so Dr. Daniels laid out the biblical context, starting with King Ahab of Israel. And the text, 1 Kings 16.3, doesn't mince words. It says, Ahab did what was evil in the Lord's sight, even more than any of the other kings before him.
Wow, okay. So not a great start for him.
Not at all. He's married to Jezebel, big into Baal worship. The sermon emphasized he was basically a leader with, well, no moral compass to speak of.
Got it. So you have this leader who's already inclined to maybe avoid the hard truths.
Precisely. And the conflict kicks off when King Jehoshaphat of Judah comes to visit. Ahab wants to go to war, recapture Ramoth-Gilead from the king of Aram.
Okay, a military alliance.
Right. And Jehoshaphat agrees to help. But he adds this crucial condition. He says, but first, let's find out what the Lord says.
Ah, there it is. The request for divine truth. That's the moment that forces the issue, right?
It really is. And Ahab's reaction. It tells you everything. He doesn't go looking for genuine wisdom. He wants backup.
Yeah.
He calls up 400 prophets.
400?
400. And this group of advisors, or maybe you'd call them yes men.
Yeah, sycophants.
Right. They all chime in together perfectly on script.
Yeah.
Yes, go right ahead. The Lord will give the king victory. Total groupthink.
It's like asking for feedback, but, only from people will praise you.
Yeah.
And the sermon pointed out that Jehoshaphat's response is, well, it's kind of shady in a polite way.
That is subtle, yeah.
He hears these 400 guys saying the exact same thing, and he asks, is there not also a prophet of the Lord here? He knows something's off. He's looking for the outlier, the real voice.
And that polite push is what brings Micaiah, son of Imlah, into the picture, and Ahab's immediate reaction. It perfectly shows why truth is so hard for some people to hear.
What does he say?
Ahab says, straight up, I hate him, because he never prophesies anything but trouble for me.
Wow. So he admits it. He hates the messenger because he doesn't like the message. He knows Micaiah brings the hard truth.
Exactly. It's a classic case of shooting the messenger because you fear the news they carry. It's not about the person, it's about the warning.
Okay, so Micaiah gets called, but there's an attempt to manage him first, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The system kicks in. A messenger intercepts Micaiah on the way and basically says, look, everyone else is promising the king success. Just go along with it, agree with them. They're trying to control the output before he even gets there.
Trying to soften the blow or maybe just avoid it entirely.
Right. But Micaiah, his response sets up the whole first theme of the sermon. He says, quoting 1 Kings 22.150, as surely as the Lord lives, I will say only what the Lord tells me to say. No compromise.
Boom. That leads straight into the first big takeaway Dr. Daniels highlighted.
Theme 1. The truth cannot be managed.
Yeah. We always want those soft landings, don't we? We try to phrase things just right, minimize the offense, control how the other person reacts.
We try to coddle it.
Exactly. But the point here is truth isn't like an appetizer or dessert you can tweak. You can't just make it low calorie and expect it to be the same thing. It can't be managed or controlled like that.
And we do that, Dr. Daniels argued, because we think we're responsible for how the other person feels. But trying to give someone what did he call it, a gluten-free or low-carb truth.
I remember that.
It might make you feel better, like you were diplomatic,
Yeah.
but it lies to the other person. The example used was the bad breath thing.
Oh, yeah, that was memorable.
Right. Whether you say your breath is repugnant or just, hey, your breath stinks, the point is the same. The reality doesn't change. Just take the myth that's offered. Arguing semantics is pointless.
And trying to manage it, trying to hold back that difficult truth is actually dangerous in itself. The sermon used that quote from the book, Difficult Conversations.
The hand grenade one.
Yeah. There is no such thing as a diplomatic hand grenade. Once you know something needs to be said, holding on to it is like holding a grenade after you pulled the pin. The explosion is coming. You're just delaying it, maybe making it worse.
That's a powerful image. And it connects right into the next point, because when management fails, often manipulation begins. When Micaiah finally gets to Ahab, what does he do first?
He gives him exactly what the messenger told him to say, but dripping with sarcasm.
Right. Go up and be victorious.
Yeah.
Just totally mimics the 400 false prophets. He gives Ahab that managed, comfortable lie he thought he wanted.
And Ahab, surprisingly, calls him out on the sarcasm. He gets irritated and says, "How many times must I demand that you speak only the truth to me when you speak for the Lord?" Which is just, wow, the hypocrisy.
Isn't it? He demands honesty, but he only wants the honesty that suits him.
Which perfectly sets up theme 2.
Theme 2, the truth cannot be manipulated.
Right. Manipulation here meaning like trying to control or play someone, usually for your own benefit. Ahab wants the truth, but only on his terms.
Yeah, like he wants it in small, manageable increments, as Dr. Daniels put it. He wants to control the dosage. That's not asking for truth. That's trying to customize the data to fit what you can handle or what you want to hear.
And the sermon gives some really practical, modern-day examples of how people try to manipulate conversations to shut down the truth. We've all seen these.
Like what?
Well, things like bursting into tears, the waterworks start, and suddenly the person telling the truth feels guilty and just stops talking.
Oh, yeah. The emotional diversion.
Or making threats, maybe subtle, maybe not so subtle, to get the other person to back off. Or just turning it around, making it the messenger's fault. That classic line, "Oh, so you don't want me no more," when someone brings up a real issue.
Right, making it about rejection instead of the actual problem. So faced with that kind of manipulation, what's the advice?
The sermon was really clear. Find the courage. If you're the one asked to speak truth and you're met with manipulation, you have to stand firm. Don't get derailed.
Stand your ground.
Exactly. Dr. Daniels even suggested saying something like, "Okay, here's some tissue, I can wait." You acknowledge the emotion, but you don't let it stop the necessary conversation. Finish it.
That takes guts. But it forces the focus back to the actual issue, not the emotional smokescreen.
Right. So Ahab pushes Micaiah. He demands the unvarnished truth. And Micaiah, now essentially unmuzzled by the king's own demand, he delivers.
Oh, he goes all in. No more sarcasm.
Yeah.
He shares this devastating vision he received from the Lord, how God allowed a lying spirit to inspire Ahab's 400 prophets.
And he says this right in front of them.
Right in front of them. He basically points to them and says, "You're all fakes. You're all liars." Standing right there.
Whoa. Okay, so that's intense. What happens next?
Predictably, maybe, one of those prophets, Zedekiah, the one who had been leading the false prophecy charge, he walks right up to Micaiah and slaps him hard across the face.
Yeah.
A physical reaction to the unmanaged, unmanipulated truth.
Just assaults him for telling the truth he was asked to tell. And what does Micaiah do?
He doesn't flinch. His response is incredible. He looks at Zedekiah and says, essentially, "You'll find out I'm right soon enough when you're desperately trying to hide somewhere in a secret room."
Wow. He knows the truth will eventually come out regardless of the slap.
Exactly. His faith is in the outcome, in reality confirming the message. The physical stuff is temporary.
So Ahab hears all this. The vision, the slap, Micaiah's defiance. What's his final move?
Ahab doubles down on his mistake. He orders Micaiah thrown into prison, fed only bread and water, the bare minimum.
Just punishment for honesty.
And he adds, "Until I return safely from battle," which sets up Micaiah's final incredible moment and theme 3.
Theme 3, the truth cannot be muzzled.
Right, because Micaiah looks the king dead in the eye and issues this ultimate dare. He says, "Bruh," okay, maybe not bruh, but the sentiment was there. "If you return safely, then that will mean that the Lord has not spoken through me."
He stakes his entire prophetic authority, maybe even his life, on the outcome. He's saying, go ahead, prove me wrong, you won't.
He was brave enough, as Dr. Daniels put it, to stand 10 toes down. He knew the cost prison, probably worse if Ahab had returned, but his loyalty was to the truth God gave him, not the king demanding it.
That's an amazing story. So how does this connect to us, today? What's the takeaway for the listener?
Well, the sermon really landed on this idea of how often we put difficult conversations on layaway.
On layaway. Like, we know we need to have them, but we just put them off.
For weeks, months, times years. We muzzle the truth. because we're afraid of the conflict, the awkwardness, the reaction. And Dr. Daniels argued that delay is toxic
How so?
because that unsaid truth, that muzzled message, it doesn't just disappear. It festers. It turns into resentment, bitterness.
Ah, I see.
And that bitterness leads to division. You start looking at your spouse, your coworker, your friend, whoever it is, and you just can't stand them. Everything they do suddenly gets on your nerves. Why? Because the core issue, the truth that needed saying, was buried, and now the relationship is poisoned.
That makes a lot of sense. The trust is gone because the truth wasn't allowed.
Exactly. So the challenge thrown out was, can we choose differently? Can we decide to remove the emotion, the yelling, the tears, the manipulation, and just talk?
Focus on the presentation, right? Come in love, be honest, no hidden agenda, but deliver the truth that needs delivering, especially if it was asked for.
Right. It's about choosing transparency, even when it's uncomfortable. Maybe especially when it's uncomfortable.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the main points from this deep dive into the sermon, the big takeaways.
Sure. Based on Dr. Daniels' look at 1 Kings 22, there are 3 key principles about truth.
First, the truth cannot be managed. You can't sugarcoat it or dilute it effectively. It is what it is.
Second, the truth cannot be manipulated. Emotional tactics, threats, blame shifting, they don't change the facts, and we shouldn't let them derail the conversation.
And finally, the truth cannot be muzzled. Whether you ask for it or you feel compelled to speak it, eventually, reality will bear it out. You can delay it, but you can't ultimately silence it.
Which leads us to that final provocative thought from the sermon to leave you with.
Okay, what is it?
We tend to make difficult conversations difficult because we make them difficult. We brace for battle, we strategize, we get emotional. But what if 2 adults could actually sit down, talk about their differences honestly, stick to the facts, without all the drama, without the yelling or the manipulation?
Just a straight, honest conversation.
What would that actually look like? Maybe that kind of straightforward honesty, that transparency, is the real challenge, the real test of courage in our relationships and interactions.
Something to definitely think about.
Go in peace, be blessed, and may the joy of Jesus be yours. We'll see you next week.